Once the man who had cut in front of the other customers, 15 seconds later on the sidewalk in front of this store, there's a stabbing that leads to a death. I am coming to my community today, less than 24 hours later, and I'm asking you to provide your assistance with identifying this individual who is wanted by our investigators for questioning with respect to this crime. Now again, over the course of 15 minutes, this individual works his way methodically ahead of everybody else in that line, is confronted by this individual, and then from the moment of that confrontation, 15 seconds later, the two of them are out in front of this door, a stabbing occurs, and an individual's life is lost. I'm asking our community to look carefully at this individual and help us identify who this person is. The question my detectives have to answer is, how does a confrontation lead to a homicide in 15 seconds? That's a question that they have been working on since we stood together in that parking lot last night. The family of the individual who was killed is looking for closure. Families and children who are in this restaurant are looking for closure. And I know this story has gone far beyond the borders of my home. And people are asking, how can something so pointless occur? That's the work that we're about right now. And again, I'm coming to my community and asking for your assistance in identifying the individual who's wanted for questioning. If this individual is watching, I would strongly encourage you to come forward and present yourself for questioning by our detectives. With that, I will absolutely answer any questions that I'm able to at this point in the investigation. So at this point, we are releasing the name of the victim, and our Media Relations Division will be providing all that to you at the conclusion of our press conference.
The victim of the stabbing is the one who's cutting in line, is what you're saying?
I'm sorry?
Same question. Is the person who was stabbed the deceased, the person who was cutting in line?
The individual who was cutting in front of the other patrons is the person who was stabbed and is deceased. And it's their family who we are trying to get answers for, but also our community and people beyond our community, yes. At this point, I've just come from a briefing with our investigators, and we have no information that says that this extended beyond this. Again, what I think people are responding to, and it's something we have to question in terms of how we are interacting with one another as a society, is how does a confrontation over cutting line lead to a death? But no, to answer your question directly, we don't have information that this is a long-standing dispute or that it's anything outside of what occurred. And again, what bothers me about this, coming back to the larger issues, is that there are families and children in this restaurant as this is unfolding. And they've been exposed to this now as well. This is pointless, this is disrespectful, and that's why I'm asking for our community's help to provide information to our detectives so we can bring a quick resolution to this case.
1 second, please, I'm sorry.
We at this point have no reason to believe that the two of them were associated with each other prior to this interaction. If that changes, you're going to hear that from me, but that's the answer I have for you right now.
Go ahead, 1 second, go ahead.
That is another individual that we would like to ask some questions of. We believe that she is associated with this individual, but we do not know the nature of that relationship. And again, our investigators are asking for the community's help in identifying her as well. At this point, we're not going to delve into anybody's record or any other information we have. What I will affirm for you, however, is that we don't believe that there's a relationship between the victim in this and any of the other patrons at this point. We have recovered a weapon. Yes, a knife. I can't go into any further detail, but I will affirm for you that we have recovered a knife. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, you mentioned, I want to be sure I have it clarified, the victim in the case was there with his family, is that accurate?
No.
No, okay.
We believe that the suspect and the woman that you see pictured over here are associated with each other. We believe that they are together. We do not know that the victim in this was related to anybody else in that restaurant, and we don't have a reason to believe that at this point.
Did this couple of individuals have a kid with them? Is that what I heard you say?
So there were 2 children in proximity to these individuals. Again, we're not even 24 hours into this, so I don't know the relationship of those children to these individuals. But what I will say is that I've watched this video, and there are a number of children and families in this restaurant, and they are obviously shocked by what is unfolding in front of them. And again, this is a unique set of circumstances. All right, it's tragic that someone has lost their life. It's a pointless crime. But at the end of that, it's a pointless crime that plays out in front of children and families. And that's why our detectives have not gone home yet and will not go home. And that's, again, why I'm asking for the support of our community, for the women and men who do this work on your behalf, so that we can bring closure to all the parties who have been negatively impacted by this tragedy.
Any information on how they left the area in the vehicle or anything like that?
We believe that the suspect in this fled in a vehicle, but I don't have any further information on that for you at this point.
No description of the vehicle. Have you all seen any video?
We believe that they fled in a vehicle, but we don't have any information for you on that at this point.
Jennifer mentioned last night that this was a Popeyes restaurant in the line specifically for chicken.
So yes, this is a Popeyes restaurant, and yes, this behavior does evolve around a line specifically for one food item. This occurs in a line specifically set aside for people waiting for a chicken sandwich. It had not, no transaction had occurred between the business and these individuals. The confrontation occurs prior to that. Okay? Lynn, 3 dozen or more. I mean, it was packed. And that's where this is very troubling. But again, I'd like us all to pause for a second. I know this is troubling, but how does something like this, a temporary set of circumstances, lead to an individual making a choice that permanently alters so many lives? And those are the questions that my detectives are working to answer. But again, from your chief's perspective, this is pointless. And I just ask us all to pause and consider this as we work together to resolve this issue, but then prevent this sort of thing from occurring again in the future. It is absolutely horrible that we're standing here today talking about something like this. I can't answer what you might have heard from other sources. I can only provide you a briefing on what my police investigators have told me, and I've given you everything that I'm able to at this point in this investigation. So again, I've provided everything that I'm able to provide to you at this point in the investigation, and I'm coming to our community asking for help identifying these individuals.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your help.
We're going to send out the blog now. The victim is 28-year-old Kevin Tyrell Davis of Oxon Hill. And again, he was the individual who our investigation has revealed was cutting in line in front of other customers, and it was another customer who they got into the altercation, and that other customer who was right there fatally stabbed Mr. Davis outside of the store. He was not stabbed repeatedly. This is a single stab wound. That's some misinformation that's out there, so we need to correct that. This is obviously an extremely dangerous person. We need to get off the streets.
So the fight started inside the restaurant.
And then goes outside. Yep. Yeah. No, it looks to be words. I mean, it's a verbal altercation. It's heated. And again, it's 15 seconds. Yeah. No, this is our suspect. This woman we would like to speak with. We'd just like to identify who she is and speak with her. We think she has some pretty vital information to the investigation.
Do you have audio of the words that were exchanged?
I'm not going to be able to get into that detail right now because they're in the midst of a pretty thick homicide investigation. Upper body is all we can say. Okay? Thanks, guys. Thanks for your patience.